You tell yourself you are ready to die for your family, but that is a lie. Dying is easy. It is a one-time transaction. The hard part is living while they suffer because you forgot the math of survival. Right now, in some mid-sized town, a father is watching his daughter's lips crack and bleed. He has a basement full of ammunition, but not a single gallon of clean water. He prepared for a war, but he did not prepare for the thirst. Survival is not a movie. It is a series of cold, brutal calculations made in the dark. It started with a flash that turned the noon sky into a searing, predatory white. You did not hear the blast at first, you just felt the pressure wave rattle your teeth in their sockets. Your phone went dead in your hand, a useless slab of glass and rare earth minerals. Every car on the interstate just quit, turning the highway into a graveyard of late-model SUVs. This is not a drill. The grid is down, the sky is bruised, and the clock just started ticking on the most dangerous month of your life. Welcome to Day 1. The first 4 hours are defined by a singular, suffocating denial. You see people standing on their lawns, looking at their screens as if they will suddenly flicker back to life. They think it is a local outage. They think the National Guard is already rolling. They are wrong. Downrange, the primary targets are already ash. In your mid-sized town, you are in the fallout zone. The wind is carrying a silent, invisible dust that will peel the life out of you if you do not move. Reality has shifted. The old rules are gone. Your first instinct is to run, but the roads are already a parking lot. You need to go to ground. You pull your family into the innermost room of the house, away from the windows. You start filling every tub and sink with water before the pressure fails. You feel like a paranoid fool until you hear the first scream from down the street. It is the sound of someone realizing that help is not coming. Not today. Maybe not ever. You seal the vents with plastic and duct tape. You wait. The silence is heavier than the noise. Fallout is not like the movies. It does not glow. It looks like common ash or grit falling from a grey sky. But every grain is a tiny engine of destruction emitting gamma radiation. You have to treat the outside air like it is poison, because it is. If you brought your dog inside after the flash, you just brought the threat into your sanctuary. You have to be ruthless. You strip down, bag the clothes, and wash with the limited water you saved. This is SOP now. Every mistake is a potential death sentence. Hope is not a strategy. Most people guess they have enough food and water, but the math says otherwise when the days turn into weeks. You cannot gamble with your family's life on a hunch. You need a verified plan. Go to protocolsurvival.com right now, calculate your survival score, and enroll in our free Catastrophe Survival 101 course. We provide the checklists and the data you need to turn panic into a plan. Get the training before you need it, because when the grid goes dark, the time for learning is over. Visit protocolsurvival.com today. When the sun goes down on that first night, the darkness is absolute. No street lights, no porch lights, no distant hum of the city. You realize how much you relied on the hum of the machine to feel safe. Now the only sounds are the wind and the occasional distant crack of a gunshot. People are starting to fight over the scraps left in the convenience stores. You stay in the dark. Light attracts moths, and in a grid-down scenario, moths have guns. You sit in the blackness checking your watch. Hour 8. By day 2, the physical reality of the situation sets in. The human body is a water-cooled machine. Your children start complaining of headaches. Their mouths are dry. You look at the 2 cases of bottled water you have under the stairs, and you do the math. 3 gallons a day for a family of 4 for basic hydration and hygiene. You have 4 days, maybe 5. The guilt starts to itch. You should have bought more. You should have listened. Now you are measuring life in ounces while the world outside burns. Nobody talks about the smell. With the water main dead, the toilets are just ceramic bowls of disease. You cannot flush them. If you do, you are wasting precious gallons. You have to implement a bucket system immediately. Line a 5-gallon bucket with heavy-duty bags. Use kitty litter or sawdust if you have it. If you do not manage human waste, the bacteria will kill you long before the radiation does. Dysentery is a relic of the past that is currently knocking on your front door. On day 3, your neighbour Bob knocks on your door. He looks haggard. He wants to know if you have any extra batteries or a hand crank radio. He is a good man, but he is a liability. If you give him what he wants, he will be back tomorrow for water. If you turn him away, you make an enemy. This is the social decay of the lockdown. You have to decide where your perimeter starts. Is it your fence line, or is it your front door? The answer determines your survival. By day 5, the adrenaline is gone, replaced by a crushing, leaden fatigue. You are living in a tomb of your own making. The windows are covered, the air is stale, and the boredom is a physical weight. You find yourself staring at the wall for hours. This is when mistakes happen. Someone opens a door to get a breath of air. Someone lights a candle near a curtain. You have to maintain discipline. You have to keep a schedule. Without routine, the mind unravels, and an unravelled mind cannot protect a family. We are now at hour 168. Day 8. This is the tipping point. The initial panic has subsided into a grim, desperate reality. Most of the easy resources are gone. The municipal water system is officially a dead relic. If you have been relying on your stored supply, you are likely looking at empty bottles and a dry bathtub. Now comes the hard part: procurement. You have to leave the safety of your bubble to find the one thing you cannot live without: water. But the water outside is not what it used to be. On day 8, you are facing a specific, invisible monster: iodine 131. This isotope is at its peak effectiveness right now. It has a half-life of 8 days, meaning today it is as dangerous as it will ever be. If you ingest it through contaminated water, your thyroid will soak it up like a sponge. It will destroy the tissue from the inside out. This is why you need potassium iodide tablets. They saturate your thyroid with stable iodine, so the radioactive version has nowhere to go. If you do not have them, your choices for water just became a lot more complicated. You look at the creek behind your neighborhood. It looks clear, but it is a trap. Surface water sources like rivers and ponds are currently holding fallout particles like a soup. Physical filtration through a coffee filter or a biosand filter will catch the grit, but it will not touch the dissolved isotopes. Boiling it will kill the bacteria, but it will actually concentrate the radioactive material as the water evaporates. You need a multi-stage process, or you are just drinking a slow-acting poison. This is tactical chemistry now. To get safe water on day 8, you have to distill it. This means boiling the water and capturing the steam. The heavy radioactive isotopes stay in the pot, while the pure H2O travels through the tubing to your collection jar. It is slow. It is fuel-intensive. It is a pain in the neck. But it is the only way to ensure your children aren't drinking a death sentence. You need a pressure cooker, some copper tubing, and a heat source. If you did not prep these items, you are improvised engineering your way through a crisis. It starts to rain on the afternoon of day 8. Your first instinct is to put out every bucket you own. Stop. The first rains after a fallout event are the most toxic. They are literally washing the atmosphere, pulling down every radioactive particle suspended in the clouds. This is the first flush. You must let it pass. Only subsequent rains, hours or days later, carry a lower contamination load. If you collect that first rain, you are bringing the sky's poison directly into your kitchen. Patience is a survival skill you cannot afford to ignore. If you are lucky enough to have a well, do not assume it is safe. Deep aquifers are generally protected from surface fallout, but the well's construction is the weak point. If the casing is cracked or the seal is loose, surface runoff has already contaminated the supply. Furthermore, the pump is likely electric. Without a backup generator or a manual hand pump conversion, that water is 1,000 feet down and might as well be on the moon. You need a way to pull it up without alerting the entire neighborhood that you have a source. Once you have filtered and distilled your water, you still have to worry about biological pathogens. The world is getting dirty fast. Use regular, unscented household bleach. 8 drops per gallon for clear water. 16 if it is cloudy. Let it sit for 30 minutes. If it does not have a slight chlorine smell, repeat the dose. This is your final line of defense against the invisible bugs that will drain your strength through fever and vomiting. In this environment, a simple stomach flu is a force multiplier for the enemy. Water is more than hydration. It is a security risk. If people see smoke from your distillation fire or hear your pump, they will come. Thirst turns decent people into predators faster than hunger does. You need to conduct your water operations under the cover of darkness or behind solid visual barriers. Use smokeless fuel like alcohol or dry hardwoods if you must have a fire. Your goal is to be a ghost. A ghost with a full canteen is a ghost that survives to day 9. Silence is a component of your water system. By day 9, the iodine-131 threat will have halved. By day 40, it will be mostly gone. But today, on day 8, you are at the peak of the curve. This is why timing is everything. If you can stay inside and use your stored water for just 2 more weeks, your chances of long-term health issues drop exponentially. Survival is a game of patience and knowing when the environment is trying to kill you. You are not just hiding from people, you are hiding from isotopes. Respect the math, or the math will bury you. You realize you cannot do this alone. Your wife is monitoring the radio, your son is checking the perimeter, and you are managing the water. If one of you fails, the whole unit collapses. You aren't just doing this for yourself. You are doing this so your son doesn't have to grow up in a world where his father gave up. You look at his tired eyes, and you find a second wind. This is the protection drive. It is stronger than fear. It is what keeps you boiling water at 3 in the morning when your bones ache. You might think the National Guard or FEMA will eventually roll in with water buffaloes and MREs. That is the common objection. The government won't let us starve. But look at the scale of the escalation. In a nuclear scenario, the infrastructure isn't just damaged, it is vaporized. The logistics chain is broken. The Guard members are at home protecting their own families, or they are stuck in contaminated zones with no transport. Relying on a government rescue is a suicide pact. On day 8, you are the only government that matters in your house. Act accordingly. Water is for more than drinking. On day 8, the grime is starting to affect morale. A sponge bath with a single pint of water can change a person's entire outlook. It prevents skin infections and reminds you that you are still human. You have to ration this carefully. 1 pint for washing, 1 gallon for drinking. Use the grey water from the sponge bath to prime a toilet for a single, necessary flush if you must. Every drop must serve 2 or 3 purposes before it is allowed to soak into the dirt. You look out the slit in the heavy curtains. The neighbourhood is too quiet. No lawnmowers, no leaf blowers, no distant hum of the freeway. Just the occasional sound of a dog barking, a sound that gets thinner every day as they starve. The lack of noise is a tactical signal. It means the transition from disaster to collapse is complete. On day 8, the people who didn't prepare are starting to break. They are looking at their neighbours' houses and wondering who has the water. You need to make your house look as empty and miserable as theirs. When the grid goes dark, the cloud goes with it. All those YouTube tutorials and survival blogs will be unreachable when you need them most. You need a command center that works offline, in the palm of your hand. I built the Protocol Survival app to be exactly that. It stores your inventory, your checklists, and your training modules locally on your device. Secure your inventory and access your free training modules now while you still have a signal. Go to protocolsurvival.com and get the tools that don't quit when the power does. Be ready for day 8 before it arrives. Visit protocolsurvival.com. By day 8, your propane tanks are likely running low if you have been cooking and boiling water. You have to transition to alternative fuels. Rocket stoves are high efficiency and low smoke, making them ideal for urban survival. You can build one from 4 cinder blocks or even tin cans. They burn small twigs and scraps, which are easy to find without venturing too far downrange. Remember, the goal is maximum heat with minimum signature. If your chimney is belching black smoke, you are inviting a raid. Stay low, stay hot, stay hidden. You see the signs in your youngest child first. Dark circles under the eyes, lethargy, a pinch of the skin that doesn't snap back. This is the face of dehydration in a fallout zone. It is a slow, agonizing decline. It makes them vulnerable to every bug and isotope in the air. You realize that your failure to secure water isn't just a tactical error, it is a betrayal. This realization is what drives you to head out into the grey light of day 9. You are no longer afraid of the radiation. You are afraid of the look in their eyes. Day 15. You have survived the peak of the iodine 131 threat. The initial radiation levels outside have dropped by about 90%. It is still dangerous, but it is no longer immediately lethal. This is the emergence. You have to transition from a bunker mentality to a scouting mentality. The world outside your front door is a different country now. The lawns are brown, the cars are rusted hulks, and the air has a metallic tang. You step out, your boots crunching on the grit. The hunt for resources is no longer a choice, it is the mission. Scouting on day 15 is about pattern recognition. You aren't looking for movement, you are looking for the absence of movement. A house with no tracks in the dust is either empty or a trap. A house with a pile of trash outside is occupied and likely desperate. You carry a suppressed firearm if you have it, not for a firefight, but to take out a stray dog without alerting the whole block. You are a ghost in a graveyard. Every corner you turn is a potential ambush. Your heart is a drum, but your hands are steady. You see someone across the street. A man carrying a plastic gas can. You both freeze. This is the moment where civilization is weighed and found wanting. You do not wave, you do not call out. You just watch each other, two predators in the same woods. He moves on, and you do the same. This is the new social contract, mutual avoidance. Any interaction is a risk you cannot afford. You are both just trying to get back to your families with something they can use. The age of the neighbour is over. You pass the local supermarket. It has been picked clean. The doors are smashed, and the smell of rotting produce drifts out into the street. People fought and died here on day 2 for cans of peaches. There is nothing left for you. You have to look where others don't. The back offices, the pharmacies, the janitor closets. A gallon of industrial floor cleaner isn't useful, but the heavy-duty bucket it comes in is worth its weight in gold. Survival is about finding the utility in the wreckage of the old world. You hear a buzz overhead. It is not a bird. It is a drone. Likely a hobbyist's unit being used by a local gang to scout the neighbourhood. In this new world, whoever has the high ground wins. You flatten yourself against a wall, staying in the shadows. If they see you, they know your house is worth hitting. The tech of the old world is being repurposed for the predation of the new one. You wait until the buzz fades before moving. The sky is no longer your friend. It is a source of surveillance. Day 31. You have made it a month. The immediate threat of radiation is low, but the threat of starvation is peaking. This is the long haul. The weight you have lost shows in your face. Your clothes hang loose. The calories in your pantry are a finite countdown. You are no longer surviving a disaster. You are living in a collapse. The grid isn't coming back. The stores aren't being restocked. This is the point where you either have a sustainable system for food and water, or you are just waiting for the end to catch up with you. Money is just paper now. The only things with value are things that keep you alive. Salt, ammunition, medicine, and clean water. You find yourself trading a box of 9mm rounds for a pound of dried beans. It is a terrible trade, but you can't eat lead. Trust is the rarest commodity of all. You only trade with people you have known for years, and even then, you keep your rifle within reach. The social fabric has been shredded and rewoven into a series of small, suspicious tribes. Welcome to the new Dark Ages. A small cut on your finger becomes a major threat on day 40. Without antibiotics and clean bandages, a simple infection can turn septic in days. You realize how much of your life was supported by a pharmaceutical safety net that no longer exists. You start using honey as a topical antiseptic and boiling strips of old sheets for bandages. Every minor injury is a crisis. You move slower, work more carefully. In the long haul, being reckless is a luxury you can no longer afford. One mistake is all it takes to end the story. The silence of the world starts to get into your bones. You find yourself missing things you used to hate. The sound of traffic, the glare of a billboard, the mindless chatter of the news. The world has become small, quiet, and dangerous. You see the light fading from your wife's eyes. You have to find a reason to keep going. You start a garden in the backyard, even if the soil is contaminated. You have to believe in a future, even if it is a dirty, difficult one. Without hope, the body just stops trying to survive. By day 100, you are a different person. You are leaner, harder, and more observant. You have seen the worst of humanity, and you have seen the best. You realize that the grid wasn't what kept you safe. It was just what kept you comfortable. True safety comes from your own hands, your own knowledge, and the people you trust. The world as you knew it is gone, but you are still here. You have mastered the math of survival. You have learned that life is not a right, it is a series of hard-won victories. We spend our lives thinking we are the masters of our environment. We flip a switch and the light comes on. We turn a tap and water flows. We think this is the natural state of things. It isn't. It is a fragile, temporary miracle maintained by 1,000 systems we don't understand. When those systems fail, the thin veneer of civilization peels away in hours. You are left with nothing but what you know and what you have prepared. The grid isn't what keeps the lights on. It's what keeps the monsters out. And the monsters are very hungry. So, look around your house right now. Look at your children. Ask yourself if you have done enough to keep them from looking at you with cracked lips and hollow eyes on day 8. If the answer is no, then today is the most important day of your life. You have the chance to learn, to prep, and to plan before the flash turns your world white. The clock is ticking, even if you can't hear it. Don't be the man with a basement full of ammo and a family dying of thirst. Be the one who is ready for the long dark.